As I was preparing my words for you this Sunday, I found myself perusing a book called A World of Faith. It had been prepared for the 2002 Winter Olympics here in Utah. Though it is a children's book full of information about several modern-day religions and their roots, it left me thinking about what a wonderful legacy those who claim to be prophets have left behind them. Reverend Shelley mentioned in weeks past that a prophet for us is someone who tells the truth. Their messages they are speaking can be most meaningful, but due to the fact that their views may be uncomfortable, may require people to change, or expose them to vulnerability, people tend to have love or hate relationships to them. Something I find very valuable, however, is the fact that in this definition of prophet, however, we don't have religion tied into it at all. It allows each one of us to act on conscience and what we believe to be right. Thankfully, we have 7 principles that help guide us towards the kinds of ideas that should help us to be united in what will resonate with our conscience. In the days ahead, we need to be looking for prophets. With President Trump making moves daily that restrict and cut away the liberties of people worldwide, we can't afford to have nobody to look to for wisdom. Of course, we ourselves can be fountains of wisdom for ourselves, but this may require a little vulnerability on our end. And what we think is us being courageous, maybe our arrogance coming forth and reshaping the world as we want it to be. We have a demagogue at this time who is doing that. I believe I speak for most of us when I say none of us want to follow in the footsteps of Trump. This means we are seeking the wisdom of these prophets. We have to know how we're able to find them. Some religions speak of a still small voice. I've heard that voice before, and perhaps it is the truth. But I know plenty of others who haven't heard that voice. It has nothing to do with righteousness or wickedness. Perhaps they aren't wired that way. I don't know. I am not God, nor do I want to be. The one method I've seen that works with everyone I have found by means of playing a video game back when I was 16. And before you say, video games are not prophetic, J-Rod, I just want to say, they are. And I'm saying I found wisdom in what they shared with me. So picture it. You're a little pixelated person who's going to save the pixelated world. And they are looking for the weapon that will help them fight against the pixelated bad guy trying to take over the world. In their search, they are told to look for a sword that resonates with them. Note, for those of you who have played the Legend of Zelda series, this is the plotline of every single Zelda game. And the story goes on. They go fight against the epic bad guy, and note the epic bad guy in their world is so much easier because there's only one in their world. Unlike reality where we have dozens we're fighting against. And everyone is saved and everything is happy, and you go on to having a really crappy ending, because all Zelda games have a really crappy ending. And life is better. The interesting thing is this idea of what saves us is what resonates with us. I got that from playing the game Lufia 2, though it relates to all the Zelda games. They found a sword that resonates with them. That thing that resonates with us is the principles that we live by, the values that we hold. And here as a Unitarian Universalist, the 7 principles that we cherish and work to live. Now note, when we look at the world around us, we find that resonance is abundant. Why do we listen to certain individuals' music over and over again, like I listen to the Hamilton soundtrack over and over again? Why do we replay the same movies over and over again? And y'all who are parents out there know you have kids who literally that's all they do, watch the same movie over and over again. And why do we read the same books time and time again? Resonance. These things keep us from getting, this resonance keeps us from getting sick of the characters or the message, because we believe at the end of the day we are getting something out of the relationship. Resonance is about relationship with a story, a person, an idea, a value, principle. For a long time I saw Christ as one of the principal people I had resonance with. I wanted to pattern my life in the same way as his own. For me, that meant I needed to love people no matter what they choose to do to me. It meant I forgave people no matter what they did to me. And it meant that I helped people in need and gave until there was nothing left to give. I'm not saying these are the principles by which you should live your life. This is what I got out of the lessons that Christ taught me. To offer another example of resonance, I share music. When people sing in a 4-part harmony, you find resonance. We find resonance in the songs that we sang today, such as "This Little Light of Mine," "I'm Gonna Let It Shine." You see the resonance not just in the music, but in the energy in the people, the belief that they have a light. It might be small, but they're going to make it shine the best they can. Or just listening to the idea of the meditation on breathing. Breathe in, breathe out. People who believe that simply breathing in harmony makes the world a better place. There's something to be learned, because many of the ideas that resonate with us most are not simply because of who we are now, but who we want to be. With that, I offer 3 questions I consider when I seek wisdom. Does this align with the vision of who I want to be? Does this align with the message I want to share through my life? And does this align with the culture I want to build around me? One of the quests of my life has been to envision who I want to be. This hasn't been an easy juxtaposition, living in Utah or inside the LDS faith. Cultural ideas about being black, as they are, limit the kind of person I can be and remain a good person in the eyes of many that I know. And being a good person resonated with me. Because that resonated with me, I chose to limit what I was so I could be good according to those views. I don't fight views of blackhood based on any specific church or belief set. However, based on the relationship I want to have with the people around me. Close your eyes now. Think of what your world would look like if people thought you were dangerous when they saw you without context. For me, that's when everyone black who wears a hoodie carries a gun. Think of if everyone saw you wearing a hoodie, thought you were dangerous, and carried a gun. Or that women would clutch their purses close when you walk near them. Or families would shield their children from you as you walk by. Or if you carry a gun and you tell the police officer that you have a legal license to carry and you are carrying, he's going to shoot you. Or the kid who on the playground who beats your face in and calls you the N-word. I speak from my own experiences because these are the lived stories that resonate with me. The world I live in is often more interested in the destruction of my identity as a black man than as my life as a human being. Ever wonder why assimilation works? It is because it resonates not a way to become your most authentic self, but because it resonates as a way to protect yourself, a way to make yourself less vulnerable. God, many a day I have needed to be less vulnerable. There is a term we use to refer to those who assimilate into white culture. Whether you're black, brown, red, or yellow. And that term is token. I lived many years as a token because it was safer than admitting how much to hear people speak about black people like animals. Safer than to risk living in the ghetto just to live another day. Safer than getting to know other black people and recognizing that the stereotypes crafted around us had nothing to do with who we are. To stay safe, I lived in a world that subordinated black to white, and I accepted that as a pattern my life was based upon. I learned it didn't mean that racism didn't take place around me, but I chose to be complicit in racist acts towards me, or turn a blind eye towards them. In the past year, I've done a lot of work to rip that veil from over my eyes. Much of that work incorporated a new term into my life. I've often been, or called myself or labeled this, I don't really know. Maybe that's not for me to decide. But a feminist, or a racial advocate, or an LGBTQIAP+ advocate, or ally. That's a mouthful. But learning how to be all of them at once was a different story. Has anyone here ever heard of Kimberly Williams Crenshaw? Awesome. This woman is a black scholar, a civil rights advocate, and she is one of my prophets. She introduced to the world a term called intersectionality. This term is literally so radical, when I put it into the Word document I wrote this on, it didn't recognize the word. Intersectionality is the study of overlapping or intersecting social identities and related systems of oppression, domination, or discrimination. Intersectionality is the idea that multiple identities intersect to create a whole that is different than the component identities. Intersectionality resonates with me. And while I learned of it, I didn't know the term. I just knew that it meant I could live in this world as a black man without having to accept the racism that ran rampant around me. It meant that I could live a life that I wasn't the token. I could be a part of the community rather than a shiny medal for the community to wear. That journey led me into this chapel, where I sit in communion with people who mourn the deaths of people of color. We do that every week. Or I get to sing songs like, "This little light of mine with everything in my soul." And y'all are just lucky I have not learned the Holy Stomp yet, because every time I sit there think, can I do that? Is that something inside me? It's inside me, I just don't know how. This is a place where I recognize people who, while they might not be familiar with the term, they live intersectionality and place it as one of their chief values in life. Another prophet in my life is a gentleman by the name of James Baldwin. I'm not going to ask you if you happen to know who he is. He is another African American scholar and civil rights activist. He says, speaking of the Bible says, where there is no vision, the people perish. I don't think anyone can doubt in this country today we are menaced, intolerably menaced by a lack of vision. It is inconceivable that a sovereign people should continue, as we do so, abjectly to say, I can't do anything about it. It's the government. The government is the creation of the people. It is responsible to the people, and the people are responsible for it. No American has the right to allow the present government to say, and I deviate from his current words, when children in Aleppo are being bombed and shot and beaten to death all over on the other side of the world, that there is nothing we can do about it. That when young black people, people of color, are in the street who are being killed by police brutality and being put against laws where resisting arrest is now a hate crime, that we can do nothing about it. That when we have a president who says that we are going to ban all Muslims coming into this country from 7 different countries, that we can do nothing about it. There must have been a day in this country's life when the shooting of children in a school would have created a public uproar. I believe this is a place where that creates that public uproar. There is a day and a place in a country's life where it should have uproar. We should not be happy with this day. We should be speaking against it. In this nation, when we share with President Trump and all the destructive power he is bringing into politics, we live in an era where we must choose to be all of our authentic selves. That we cannot betray what we think is the best thing for our nation to simply what is easy or what is comfortable. Reverend Shelley said that people who are prophets speak the truth. I add to that truth that's spoken makes us vulnerable. When we look at the history of the Unitarians and the Universalists who've come before us, many of them are labeled as heretic. And why are they labeled as heretic? Because they spoke the unpopular truth. It is our day to speak those truths, to be prophets for not only one another, but for ourselves. No matter what others may think of us. And these are the days where, as I mentioned, I'm a Hamilton person, so you're going to hear stuff about. He mentions the idea of not throwing away your shot. When you're in a duel, back in that day, the idea of throwing away your shot is to shoot straight up into the air or straight into the ground. This is throwing away your shot. It ends the duel. And allows everyone to walk away peaceably. But we are not in days where we can afford to walk away with the kind of peace that is offered. Our faith calls us to respect the interdependent web of all existence, and we cannot do that if we are silent. Some of you are going to do this on the front lines with picket signs. Others are going to write our way out. And others will have no more strength than to stand in their community as a beacon of what someone who has embraced intersectionality will look like. I am friends with many people who are that way in this congregation. Find resonance with your own values. Be the prophet this world needs you to be. Speak your truth.